Hi, my friends, it's Izzy. I'm back, and a lot has happened, and I'll try and explain it to the best of my abilities. This week, I found out on Monday, that my ex-husband has locked me out of our family home. So what happened, I went there to check the mail, and I wanted to have a look inside to see if there were any packages or if everything was all right. And I couldn't fit the key into the lock, and it didn't turn. So I said, shit, he's changed the locks. And from then on, I was very upset, and I started shaking, and I surprised myself how upset I was, because this was to be expected somehow. And he is a very vindictive person, so he will do stuff like that. Now then, I went home first and had to think about it, and thought, well, yeah, I think if I was in his situation, I probably would have done the same. I would have changed the locks to give me privacy, and also to show the other person, well, you have moved out. You decided that this was not your regular home anymore. So now it's my home, and I'm entitled to my privacy. Yes, I agree with all that. But on the other hand, I also found out that it's unlawful to change the locks on a family home if it's still in both your names. So having figured that out, I sent him a text message and said, look, you changed the locks without warning me and without telling me about it. And I find that it's very spiteful and vindictive of you. If you could please give me a key, and I will just keep it for myself. I won't make copies of it. It will just be for me to go to the house to check if everything's all right, and also to do a little bit of cleaning. So that was my excuse. I mean, the cleaning was an excuse, but now that I think about it, I think the cleaning is not that much an excuse, because he has, in the past, when we separated a long time ago, he was left in the family home as well on his own, and he really let it get very dirty, and he never cleaned. I mean, I've never seen him with a broom or a vacuum cleaner in his hands. So it's not that far-fetched that I want to keep an eye on the cleanliness of our family home. On the other hand, I also do understand his need for privacy, but he was spiteful, and he did admit it. And I said, look, if you're mean to me, that's not how you're going to win me back. And it's not going to do anything for us. And then he started sending me text messages. He said he still had tons of love for me and for our daughter Nina. He wanted me to come back, or he wanted to know if this was forever, or if there was any chance of reconciliation. And I answered, well, I don't know, really. There's always a chance. People have separated and divorced before, and they've gotten back together. So anything is possible. But the thing is, if you're going to be mean to me and nasty and vindictive, then it's not a very good start. You know, I want to be treated correctly and in a decent manner. So he went on to make a copy of the key, and after playing some games, and said, yeah, the key's ready, it's under the door. I went there the next day, and it wasn't. And he said, oh, but I was just waiting for your message to confirm that you were going to pick it up. And I sent you a text message, didn't you see it? And obviously he was gaslighting at that stage, because he hadn't sent me anything, and everything was arranged for me to pick up the key, but it wasn't there. So I said, look, make sure the key is there, because really it's, there's no point in playing games. And so the next day the key was there. So that was on Wednesday morning. I finally got my key. I did go in there, and I did do a bit of cleaning, which was very necessary. It was disgusting. There was dirt all over the floor, and it's a bit of a worry. I don't really want my place to go down like that. On the other hand, I have to let go of that type of control. I can't control what he does now that he's in that place on his own. And so then in the meantime, I had contacted my lawyer with regards to him locking me out of our family home. But basically, the lawyer, we had a chat over the phone, and my lawyer said, look, it's very common for people to do this after a breakup, and it's nothing to take personally, and also it's for me to accept, because that person who now lives on their own in that family home, they want to also they have a right to privacy and not someone just walking in on them while they're doing something in the house and stuff like that. So yeah, I could see her point, and I agreed with that. I said, look, I understand totally. Then I texted, I don't talk to my ex Joe because I don't want to get into an argument with him, so I don't talk to him. I just text him. I said, look, I understand your need for privacy. I won't come back to the house, but would you please let me know if there's a package for me, because I'm still expecting some, mail and packages from stuff that I've bought on eBay. And also, if you do have a home open to sell the place, could I please come over and give it a proper clean, because I'm quite concerned about the level of cleanliness. But I do trust you that you're going to keep it clean. So basically, I agreed to what he wanted. I still have the key. I will keep it, but I'm not gonna go back to the house unless it's absolutely necessary. And if I do, I said I would warn him and give him 24 hours notice in advance. So yeah, and then also my lawyer asked me some question. She said, do you think that your ex is likely to hide assets? Because what's happening next, you will have to make a disclosure and tell my lawyer how much money he's got, how much money he's earning, how much money he's got in superannuation, which is the pension fund, and how much money he has in saving accounts or in any accounts, like it could be anything from shares to cryptocurrency to anything. So I said, yes, I have grave concerns, but I'm also a little bit paranoid, I think, because at the end of the day, you can't really hide anything. And that's also what she said. You can't really hide anything. He will have to provide evidence, tax returns, and bank statements to prove that this is his income and this is what he's got. So there was two ways to do it. I think one is a bit more formal, going through I don't know, it's like a court order for him to disclose his assets, and the other one is just like a less formal one. So I said, look, let's do it the less formal way first and see what happens. And if I have any suspicions that he's hiding assets, I will know that, because I know roughly how much money he's got. I don't really know, but I have a rough idea. So yeah, we came to that agreement. So next, my lawyer is gonna write a letter, and I will see it first, asking my ex to disclose his assets so we can go on to the financial separation, which I really want to happen. And then there was another drama yesterday. My ex texted me and said he was really cut up about me leaving him, and he felt very lonely, very distressed, very upset. And is there any chance of us getting back together in the near future? And I sort of told him a little bit why I wasn't happy with my marriage. I told him I felt neglected, unloved, didn't get much sex or any sex at all on his behalf. Like, he didn't desire me, never made any sexual advances towards me. And I sent him a video called The Sex-Starved Marriage, which is a very good TED talk about the sex-starved marriage. And it's not just about sex, it's about intimacy. It's about, having that vulnerability and in front of your partner, and just it's about bonding. Sex is not just about genitals rubbing each other and coming to an orgasm or whatever. It is what it is, but it's also a form of bonding for a couple, which is very important, because otherwise, what differentiates a friendship from an intimate relationship is that it's that part which is much more, you have to be very close and very intimate to share that aspect of yourself, to be naked in front of each other, and it's a very vulnerable type of thing. And I think he hated it because it made him vulnerable. He just hated, and he always hated being naked. Even when he was having sex, he never undressed completely, which I found ridiculous, but it was, that was what it was. And now he sort of gaslights me and says it wasn't the case, and that he really enjoyed sex, and that he wanted sex with me, he desired me, and all this BS because it's not true. So he's doing his gaslighting thing, and then I texted him where I said, look, I wasn't happy in the marriage because basically during all that time I basically lived on the poverty line, like while he was amassing a little fortune for himself. And also we never went on holidays, we never went away on weekends. He never wanted to go out to the movies. I mean, he knew I loved going out to the movies, but he never once asked me to go out to the movies with him. Never, ever, ever. Never went out for dinner, never, very rarely, maybe once in a blue moon. And it was always me who had to initiate all that, and who had to organize it and suggest it and make the effort to take the initiative. And sometimes I would take the initiative to do stuff. Like last year, I wanted him to come to Mandurah, which is a little town by the ocean down south. And I just wanted to spend there a few days on the holidays with him. He refused. He didn't want to go. So I ended up just going with Nina, and I was very upset about it. I was very sad that he didn't want to make the effort to come along with us. Because going on holidays is not just about doing, tourism and sightseeing and eating out. It's also about bonding and making memories together. And we never had that, very rare occasions. And once was when my mum was sick. She had cancer, and I didn't know if she was going to live for much longer. That was in 2015. So we went to Europe, visited her, and then went a little bit around and went to see all my friends and my family. And then also before that, I think in about 2011 or something like that, we went to Bali, but it was only for 4 days or 5 days. I think it was only 4 days. His daughter was getting married, and I felt very like an outsider there because I didn't even have a seat at the table and stuff like that. And it was very awkward for me. I was treated like absolute garbage, and I didn't really enjoy it. And also, Joe didn't want me to come. He didn't even want me to come to begin with, and he didn't want any of the kids to come with us. And I said, we never go anywhere. Let's make that a little holiday for ourselves. And after many, many arguments and many tears, he finally gave in, but I had to pay so much money. He wouldn't give me anything. Like, he's not a generous person. He's a very tight-fisted, he's a penny counting person, and everything he will make sure that he won't give you anything, and it's all counted and accounted for and subtracted and divided, and there's no generosity, no presence, no flexibility, no spontaneous gesture saying, oh, look, I'll pay for your airfare because it's very hard for you. You have to work night shifts and you'll have to do extra. I had to do like 4 extra night shifts, one after the other, and I was wrecking my health doing night shifts and looking after Nina at the same time. Nina was still quite young. She was only 4 or 5 years old. Anyway, no, he never had any empathy for me in that regard, but he doesn't see that. In his opinion, he's been very generous and very, very good with me and nursing my family, and whereas I have never looked after him, type of thing. He has no insight into his behavior, what he's done in the relationship. I mean, we could never talk about anything. If I tried to talk about anything serious, he would fly into this rage, this narcissistic rage, and throw insults at me and put me down and call me all the names under the sun. And in the end, I just ignored it. I just said, look, you can go on and on about it. You can call me all the names under the sun. It's not going to change anything, and it's not going to do anything. By that time, my self-esteem was already so low, and I had already suffered so much, so I didn't really care anymore. But it does, no matter what you do, even if you ignore the insults, they still affect you. And there's no excuse for someone insulting their wife, their spouse, their partner, and using bad language, vulgar obscenity, like calling her a stupid cow and a bitch and effing idiot, and you name it, the worst things you can imagine. And so I tried to explain to him with text messages why I hadn't been happy in my marriage, why I was suffering, and the last few years have been a sufferance for me, putting up with his mood swings because I could never know what mood he would be in. He could be happy or he could be really grumpy and not wanting to talk to me, saying, "Oh, I'm too busy, I don't want to talk to you, go away, you talk too loud, I'm busy, can't you see that I'm busy, leave me alone," and basically telling me to get lost. But now he doesn't remember anything, obviously. It wasn't like that in his eyes. He was the perfect husband, and then he started becoming sarcastic and saying, "Oh, your lovely relationship with your ex Jeffer, he was such a lovely man, and he and I said, "Look, Joe, you're not going to achieve anything by being sarcastic. You're only going to make things worse. I'm not bringing up your ex. There's no need to bring up the exes. But this is his strategy. It was always under the belt. Always in kicking the guts. If he didn't get what he wanted, if he couldn't subdue you and get you to be submissive to what he wanted, he would use like very manipulative tactics." And always under the belt, and hit the soft spot. I'm so glad I haven't told him everything about my life, because he'll use any weakness that you have and put you down with it and make you feel like a piece of absolute garbage and a piece of shit. And so now he has no insight into what he's done. He thinks I'm an ungrateful bitch from hell, and that I am being very unreasonable, ungrateful, and to have left him. But hey, if I'd been happy, I would have stayed. I don't know. I mean, he has his good sides, and I told him, "Yeah, I understand you have your good sides, and I'm very grateful for your good sides. I appreciate them, but unfortunately, it doesn't make up for the bad sides, and the bad sides are that he is a very truculent, person. He likes to very argumentative. You can't talk reasonably with him. He will try to talk over you. Very domineering, and just very pushy when it comes to get his own way and get things done his way. And so basically, you end up not being a person anymore, but you're just how do you say, like an object, a piece of furniture next to him, someone who has to endure his moods, has to endure his mood swings. Sometimes they can be nice, sometimes he can be nasty, and it's nice, nasty, and it just goes up and down like that, and you never know what he's going to be like. And I find that these type of people are very moody and prone to mood swings. I find that they're very manipulative, because we have to submit to their will and their moods, adapt to it, always adapt to them, walk on eggshells, and pretend everything's normal. But while you're swallowing all that and putting up with that, you're destroying yourself on the inside. See, on the inside, I was becoming very numb and robotic and not really myself anymore. I was taking pain medicine to kill the pain, because it was very painful. It's very painful having to put up with that. And yes, sometimes he could be very, very nice, extremely nice, and I think he sort of thought that would make up for all the bad stuff that we'd endured. And also, the thing with him, if he'd said something in an argument, later on he said it didn't count, it was said in the heat of the argument. I'm sorry, whatever you says counts, and it will be remembered, it will not be forgotten. And that's the problem. He thought it was all be pushed under the carpet, swept away, ignored and forgotten, but unfortunately, your subconscious remembers everything, and these things will always affect me. They have hurt me deeply. They have affected my personality. They've affected who I am. I'm very emotional now. I get the shakes as soon as someone raises their voice. I've become a very diffident person, whereas before I was quite confident within myself. So yeah, this is what happened, and eventually he accused me of wanting more child support. I said no, I don't give an shit about child support. I've never complained about it. Yes, he said, you complained about it, and that's why the child support people, they rang me up, they want me to call them back, and it's too stressful for me, and now I've got to give up work and blah blah blah. I said, look, it's got nothing to do with me. All I said to the child support people is that I've moved house, I've left you, Nina is now with me full time, so I've told them about my changes of circumstances, and that's all. It was my duty to do so. Now they probably want to find out more about the situation. That's why they need to ring you. They said, oh no, you're a liar, you're a manipulator, you're playing psych games. He accused me of playing psych games with him. I said, look, I'm not a game player, I'm not a liar. To be quite honest, I don't give a damn about child support, but I do care about my inheritance. So I'm preparing things for the next step, which will be our financial separation, because I want my money back. I want what I'm entitled to according to the law of this country. I don't want more, I don't want less. I just want what I'm entitled to, so that I can move on and live my life and leave all this nightmare behind me. And I can't really say there have been that many good moments in that marriage. We didn't really build many good memories because he didn't want to. He wasn't interested. He was more interested in working, making money, look at his money grow on the computer. And he said to me, I was always one to care about my retirement and prepare myself. Well, now you're going to have your retirement, but unfortunately you're going to have to give half of your super to me, because super is a shared asset, and he will be so mad when he finds out. I'm really scared about that. So now I have blocked him on my phone. I don't want to hear about him. And before I was hesitating a bit, we might reconcile, or we might be able to work things out, and I don't think so anymore. I think he's a psychopath, he's a narcissist, and he's not someone who understands love, who understands feelings, who has any empathy for other people. It's just about himself, about looking after himself and getting his own needs met at the expense of my mental health, my well-being, my sanity. And he's always told me that I'm crazy anyway, so I said, I accept that. I don't care what you think. If you want to think I'm crazy, then I'm crazy. But that's typical for gaslighters. They want to believe that their spouse is crazy. That's what the whole thing is all about. Anyway, I'm going to leave it now because I have to go to work, and it's going to be a long shift. It's very hot out there. My phone is getting too hot as well. So I have to leave it here, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.